stones, fire and burning sulfur. Thus will I show my greatness and holiness, and I will make myself known to all the nations of the world. Then they will know that I am the Lord. A significant part of the earth and its vegetation, man's environment is devastated. Another Sodom and Gomorrah type situation. Another thing that this is going to, problem that it's going to be is the wheat crops are going to fail. They're going to be all dried up. There's going to be scarcity of wheat to make flour, to make bread. Also, there's not going to be hay for the livestock. People may even lose livestock during this because of it, because there's not the hay to give them, or the hay's going to be all burned up, and it's not going to really give them the nutrients and stuff that they need. So it's just not going to be a very good situation. All right, then verse 8 and 9, let's look at the second trumpet then. Then the second angel blew the trumpet, and a great mountain of fire was thrown into the sea. And 1/3 of the water in the sea becomes blood, and 1/3 of all things living in the sea died, and 1/3 of the ships on the sea were destroyed. As I was reading that, the first thing that came to my mind is Kilauea volcano that's been erupting for over a month now, and all the lava that's going into the water, and you know that it's killing the vegetation and stuff, the sea creatures, the fish, the shrimp, all of that. Not to mention the sulfuric acid, the clouds that are being generated as it's going into the sea. And it's the same situation here. It's a mountain of sulfur falls into the sea, killing 1/3 of the inhabitants. And when you look at it, I mean, perhaps this could be a volcano that is erupting, because there are going to be severe earthquakes that have been taking place and will be taking place during this time as these judgments are coming, and it could be setting off other volcanoes, which is going to cause the lava to run into the sea. But anyway, that's just a thought. But this is going to destroy 1/3 of the shipping vessels, which means that the judgment is going to hurt the seafood industry, as well as cripple the need for fresh drinking water. If the boats are not able to go out, because some of the boats are going to be destroyed, but like the seafood industry, they're not going to be able to go out, or if they are going to go out, they may not be able to get anything decent, because the creatures in the sea are going to be destroyed because of this that is flowing into the seas and contaminating it. And it's just not going to be a good time. So you don't want to go through the tribulation time, or you're not going to be able to get any good shrimp scampi. So that's why it's good that we are saved and we're going to be in heaven, because it's going to be a rough time on the earth. All right, let's look at, moving on now, verse 10 and 11. Let's look at the third trumpet judgment. Then the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great flaming star fell out of the sky, burning like a torch. It fell upon 1/3 of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star was bitterness, or the King James, I believe, calls it wormwood. It made 1/3 of the water bitter, and many people died because the water was so bitter. A great meteor called wormwood, and that word wormwood means bitter. It falls on the fountains of the water, and 1/3 of the rivers turn bitter. The results are going to be death to many. The word bitter means acidic or poisonous. So here this meteor called wormwood is going to come, and it's going to hit, and it's going to contaminate the fresh water. It's bad enough that the sea has been contaminated. Now the fresh water is going to be contaminated, which means we're not going to get any decent catfish to be able to eat, praise God. And they're going to be poisonous. They're going to die. Everything is going to be poisonous, and it's not going to be a good thing. The polluted water of Africa are going to be nothing in comparison to what is going to be taking place right here. People are going to try to drink the water, and they're going to become sick. They're going to die because basically they're drinking acidic, poisonous water. They're going to get disease. Disease is going to be running rampant during this time. Because anytime there's contaminated water, if the water is not fresh and it's contaminated, it's going to have disease in there, and it's going to have this bacteria and things in there that is not good for the body. And many people are going to drink this because they're not going to have a choice, and they're going to end up dying. Jeremiah 9:15. So now listen to what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Look, I will feed them with bitterness and give them poison to drink. As you're reading this, you may be thinking, man, this sounds terrible. Man, God is really pouring out His wrath. Well, there's still the vile judgments. This is just the medium judgment. There's still a worse one to come, but still, God is doing it out of love. He wants people. It's not God's will that people die lost in eternity and go to hell. His will is that all men come unto repentance. And that's the purpose, to get people's attention, to wake them up. But yet still, people are going to rebel. And then in verse 12, we see the fourth judgment. Then the fourth angel blew his trumpet, and 1/3 of the sun was struck, and 1/3 of the moon, and 1/3 of the stars, and they became dark, and 1/3 of the day was dark, and 1/3 of the night was also. So we see that there will be 1/3 less sun, moon, and stars, extended periods of darkness as night. This dramatic change could likely affect the climate as well as the environmental aspects of the planet. I remember some years ago, I want to say maybe around 2007, something like that, 2008. But we were living in the Tulsa metro area at the time, and it had rained for like 6 straight weeks. And after just a week or two, I was like ready for the sun to come out again. Because we need sunshine. We need the vitamin D that comes from the sunshine. But there's something about the sunshine that brightens your day. I know even around here, if we go a day or two where it's cloudy, it just seems like I'm dragging and just so gloomy. But when the sun pops out like it is right now, then I find myself just cheering up. But could you imagine being here when 1/3 of the day, third more of the day, it's going to be dark? You're going to have less sunshine, it's going to be darkness, and there's something about darkness that brings fear over people. And I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to panic over this. It's almost as if like there's going to be a lunar and solar eclipse that is going to take place at the same time. It's going to be that type of effect. Many may go mental from the lack of daylight. It's just something about when it's just dark all the time that there's a fear that is there. I know when I used to drive a truck hauling mail from Bartlesville to Tulsa, when I'd start out, it'd be daylight, but by the time I got to Tulsa, it would be dark, and then I would have to come back, go back down, and come back, and it would be dark. And that 50-mile hike gets very long when it's a new moon and it's pitch black out. And there's just like something, just kind of a fear or an eeriness that comes over because of the blackness of the darkness. And there's going to be people like that. They're going to panic. There's going to be a pandemic that's going to be going on because people are not going to know what's going on. They're going to panic. They're just not going to understand. But this is, God has to do this. He has to. All right, and then chapter 9 now, verse 1 through 12, is going to be the fifth trumpet judgment. Then the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen to earth from the sky. And he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. When he opened it, smoke poured out as though from a huge furnace, and the sunlight and air were darkened by the smoke. Then locusts came from the smoke and descended on the earth, and they were given the power to sting like scorpions. They were told not to hurt the grass or the plants or trees, but attack all the people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were told not to kill them, but to torture them for 5 months with agony, like the pain of the scorpion stings. In those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee away. The locusts looked like horses armed for battle. They had gold crowns on their heads, and they had human faces. Their hair was long like the hair of a woman, and their teeth were like the teeth of a lion. They wore armor made of iron, and their wings roared like an army of chariots rushing into battle. They had tails that stung like scorpions, with power to torture like scorpions. This power was given to them for 5 months. Their king is the angel from the bottomless pit. His Hebrew name is Abaddon, and in Greek Apollyon, the destroyer. The first terror is past, but look, 2 more terrors are coming. So we see that the fifth trumpet is going to sound, and when it does, it's going to introduce us, or introduce them to these hideous demon-like creatures that are going to come. They're going to be like scorpions. They're going to have the tails of a scorpion, and they're going to sting people. But the ones who during the tribulation have refused to receive the mark, those people who have washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb, who have been given the seal of God on their foreheads, are not going to be bothered by this. But these demon-like creatures are going to go, and they're going to sting those unbelievers, those who refuse to receive Christ, who took the mark. Those people are going to be stung, and it says that it's going to last for 5 months. I know that there's been a time or two in my life that I've gotten stung by a scorpion, and my foot's swollen, and it hurt for a few days until it finally got out and all the swelling went down. But I was miserable for those few days, but yet this is going to be unending, torturous pain that they're going to be going through for 5 months. And it's not going to kill them. They're going to be praying that they will die, but yet they're not going to die. They're going to have to endure all of this pain. They will not kill man, but will torture so bad that the man will wish that they were dead. Jeremiah 8:3, and the people of this evil nation who survive will wish to die rather than live, where I will send them, for I, the Lord Almighty, have spoken. It's not going to be a good time, and these people are going to wish death upon themselves. I would rather die than have to suffer through this. And then in verses 13 through 16, it's the sixth trumpet now, and we're going to finish up after this one. Then the sixth angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice speaking from the four horns of the gold altar that stands in the presence of God. And the voice spoke to the sixth angel who held the trumpet, release the four angels who were bound at the great Euphrates River. And the four angels who had been prepared for this hour and day and month and year were turned loose to kill 1/3 of all the people on the earth. They led an army of 200 million mounted troops. I heard an announcement of how many that they were. The sixth trumpet is going to introduce 200 million horsemen, demon spirit-like death angels who are going to kill 1/3 of the people. Could you imagine that? 200 million of these things are going to be released upon the earth.